and we are going to make some crock pot lasagna. Stuff is great. So here are the ingredients. We have ground beef. Yeah, let's see. Right around 1.5 pounds, 2 pounds of that. Good old spatula. Nice pot right here. So we can combine everything before it goes into the crock pot. And any kind of sauce that you like. I get this Ragu old world style flavor with meat. It seems to be the best for cooking this together. A box of your favorite dry lasagna noodles. Contrary to popular belief, you do not have to cook lasagna noodles before you put them in a pot or a pan to cook them. They cook in the juice. But if you like to cook lasagna noodles and waste an extra 20 minutes of time, go for it. Lots of mozzarella cheese. A couple nice bags of those. Good old Italian seasoning. And then in our household here, we have people other than me that do not like ricotta cheese, which is what you really put in lasagna. So we sub in the small curd, low fat cottage cheese. So I live with it, so whatever. And I also have a surprise, some hot ground Italian sausage that's defrosting in the microwave, which will combine in with the ground beef. And I try to get the 90-10 ground beef, so there's not too much oil in the lasagna. So as soon as this thaws, I'll show you the rest. So here we go. It's time for the meat. Here we go. We are sizzling with the meat. We got a pound of Italian hot sausage in here, along with a pound of ground beef here below it. We'll combine it as we go along. So it is starting to sizzle up nicely. Once we have this cooked up fairly well, we'll add sauce to it and cook that just for a little while so it combines all the flavors, and then we'll get it ready for the crock pot. The beauty of this recipe is that you don't have to measure anything. You just kind of do it all as you go, and kind of a lazy man's lasagna, but it tastes great. You don't have to add any salt or pepper or anything like that. I recommend not adding any salt because there's plenty of salt in any of this pre-packaged stuff. So you'll just make it yucky. So here we go. So the meat mixture has been finished, and now we are going to add in sauce. And we'll stir that and see how much that is before we go adding any more sauce. It may be enough for what we're doing. We tend to have a lot of meat in this mixture, so have a meaty, cheesy lasagna. Great. So I'm probably going to add just a tad more sauce, not a whole jar. So here we have our sauce and meat mixture, and put this on low heat and maybe a medium low heat because we put a good bit of sauce in here. And you let that just kind of cook for 15-20 minutes just to kind of incorporate all those flavors in there together before you go putting it into a crock pot. So we are almost there. We're almost ready for assembly. Hang tight, we'll be there. So we are all set up with our lasagna noodles, dry, small curd cottage cheese, because everybody else here doesn't like ricotta. We have our Italian seasoning to add some zing to it, and 2 nice big bags of mozzarella cheese. So we have a lot of cheese into this recipe. Now, the other cool thing that you can do is if you like other cheeses like Parmesans, anything else that you like, I wouldn't recommend cheddar unless you're kind of weird and you want cheddar in your lasagna. Hey, go for it. But Parmesan or any of the other kind of harder cheeses, you can throw those in too for added flavor. And once we get everything in the mix, we're going to set this baby on low and let it cook for about 4 to 5 hours, and it will be nice and brown on top with cheese. So whenever you spread out your cheese, save some cheese for the end so you can put some on top and make it look really nice. So nothing fancy about this one, nothing digital. It's just straight up, and we're going to make a nice mixture here. So we are ready to assemble the crock-pot lasagna. So here we go. Time to take this out and get our magic ladle. And first, it's very important to ladle in a layer of sauce. And don't be afraid to put the sauce to it. That makes a layer so your lasagna doesn't burn and stick to the crock pot. So first things first, noodles. So we're going to get some noodles and layer those right in here. So one across, another one across. You can break it. Here we go. You can break it. Put the extra piece over there. Another piece of noodle. We're going to break a piece off of it. Put that over here and over here. And there we have our first layer. And then we are going to go with our cottage cheese and kind of just disperse that across here in little drabs. It will melt in as we cook this. So a little bit more. And then for the cheese, so mozzarella cheese, let's make a nice little layer of that. So we have a nice layer of that in there. And then I grab good old Italian seasoning and add some of that to the layer. And then another layer of sauce. Boom. Looking good. We made plenty of sauce, plenty of meat. And then just add another layer of dry noodles to this. So again, grab a noodle, pack that in there. I tend to push this down to kind of pack it in really nicely. And then you just continue adding noodles. You can break them to kind of fit however you want in here, and you just keep layering up. So important as you're building this, so bottom, remember, is sauce first so you don't burn. And noodles, dry. Don't need to cook them. Across that layer of sauce. And probably one long one will go across, and then you kind of got to break them into smaller pieces to get them to fit in the angles. If your pot has angles or curves, not a big deal. And then you do a layer of your ricotta or cottage cheese, just little drabs in there. It'll all melt together. And then a layer of mozzarella cheese or any blends of cheeses that you care to put in. And then another layer of sauce, another layer of dry noodles until you get to the top. And then we're going to put a lid on this. So here you have it, a full crock pot of lasagna layered up and ready to go with the mozzarella cheese on top and some Italian seasonings. We got about 6 layers in here, I would say. So now it is time to turn the crock pot to low. And it's going to remain on low for about, I usually go 5 hours. So that really lets it brown on top and all of that good stuff. And then can't forget the lid. That makes all the difference. So to recap for the crockpot lasagna, so I bought a couple of bottles of whatever sauce you like. If you want to make your own sauce, go for it. You need a good bit, probably a couple of quarts. Put that sauce on the bottom, layer up with dry noodles. Again, dry noodles are the best way to build it. Don't try it with cooked noodles. Doesn't work too good. And just a regular good old box of these like Barilla noodles here, or whatever you like. And once you get that done and you layer it up, it's noodles, meat, ricotta, mozzarella cheese or cheeses of your choosing, some Italian seasoning, sauce, another layer of noodles. You keep going until you get to the top. Make sure you save enough cheese for the end so you have a nice cheesy top on it.